In Silleda we have a lot of migrants and we are going to talk about 3 different people.
The first person is a woman from Ukraine. She arrived at Spain in 2000. When she arrived, she doesn't know anything of Galician or Spanish, but she found a job anyway. She said that she's so comfortable in our village and she doesn't want to leave.
Привіт, Антоні.
Привіт.
Чому ви приїхали в Іспанію?
Приїхала на роботу. На Україні не було роботи. І приїхала сюди робити.
Було вам дуже тяжко знайти роботу?
Та так, трохи було тяжко, не знала мови, але знайшла.
Було вам дуже тяжко вивчити іспанську мову?
Зразу було тяжко, тому що я дивилася бабку, і бабка говорила галєго, а я мала книжечку з кастияну. То я зразу не могла ніяк зрозуміти, що вона говорить. От, але потихеньку і вивчила по книжці, по телевізору.
Як до вас відносились?
Добре відносилася.
Дякую.
This story is about a couple who born in Galicia, but in 2013 they went to live to New Zealand. But before the pandemic started, they came back here. They returned here because for familiar reasons. They are the owners of a sustainable store because they saw that life in New Zealand was very ecological, so they want to see if that same lifestyle could be done here.
We know that you have traveled and lived in different places, but first of all, why did you decide to go abroad?
But first, it was me. I moved to Sweden with an Erasmus scholarship, and then it was for a year. And then when I came back to Spain, I went to Italy, to Rome, for half a year. The reason was just for the fun of it, just for meeting people, living abroad, and tasting the experience, let's say. And then I came back here. I lived here for, 3-4 years more. And then we moved together to Barcelona. And then after Barcelona, 6 years in Barcelona, we moved to New Zealand. And the reason to move to New Zealand is Jose who's gonna tell you.
Well, New Zealand, it was something that I don't know why, but since I was a kid, I always was like with this obsession with New Zealand. When we met, I tried to convince her to come with me, so we went there in our honeymoon, 2007. Years later, after some family problems and so on, we had a kid, Neve, our daughter. And when she was 3 years old, we moved to New Zealand finally. It was really hard decision because she asked me something like, why not now? And I said, okay, yes, let's go. And we did it like that, even when our family was not absolutely agree with that. Because we were really fine, we were super happy in Barcelona, we had a really easy life here. And we decided just to leave everything behind, get our backpacks, and go there with no job, with anything at all. Just money, that's true.
Do you think that you made a good decision?
Obviously, yes.
Absolutely, yes. Probably one of the best decisions in our lives, probably, I would say.
Why do you decide New Zealand and not other country?
Well, it's pretty much what I told you before. Is I don't know why, but probably it's because it's the opposite side of the world, the Antipodes. That I wanted to go there. Probably because there is no place farther than that, because we cannot travel to the moon. So New Zealand was the,
We also, let's say that we kind of fall in love with the country when we were there for 2 weeks for our honeymoon. We met the people, we saw that they were able to understand our jokes and the retranca, the Galician retranca. Let's say that they have a kind of sense of humor, kind of similar. And we were like, oh, we would be really happy here in this country. We can really fit here. And that was what completely convinced us that was the country to move to.
I would say that we felt that was the right place.
Yeah.
New Zealand was the place. That's it.
Did you know the languages of the countries you visited in your case, and in your case, the language of New Zealand?
Well, first, me in Sweden, obviously I don't speak a word in Swedish. I followed 2 courses, like basic Swedish, but the language to live there and to study and everything was English. That was my first contact with English. And by then I thought that I was able to speak in English and I was fluent and blah, blah, blah. But when I arrived to New Zealand, I saw the truth. And the truth was like, my English was rubbish. And I was not even able to have a job interview. Sometimes I had no idea what they were asking me for. But after how long? I don't know. It was over a year, I would say, in contact with English every single day, because I started to work nearly straight away and working every day with English people in an English environment. But the problem there is the slang. Slang is the local words that you will never find in a dictionary. That's what made your life impossible to.
And the accent.
And the accent, it's very hard. It's really frustrating, to be honest. That was one part that we didn't expect about New Zealand, and we were really frustrated with that. We thought, okay, with our basic English, we will be able to live there and to have a normal life, but that was not true. It took us a long time to get used to that accent and that vocabulary and all that.
And that was funny. My English was even worse because my English was the English that you used to get in Galicia 20 years ago in school. That was not rubbish. Before rubbish, I mean, under rubbish. Well, I used to go to movies and I used to watch the English movies and so on. But anyway, my English was
in New Zealand. In
really
New Zealand
hard.
also they mix some words from the Maori and they put those words in English sentences, so it makes it even more difficult.
Yeah, but that's not that
I
bad.
mean, that
The
works
accent-
with 20 letters.
No, not that bad. But it's not. The Maori is not that bad because even for us, Spanish speakers, it's easy because it's the same kind of words, of sounds. But for me, it's the accent. The way that they cut the words.
They cut the words. Let's say that it's like the gaditanos from
It's like
the English.
If
no?
you're going to South Spain to learn Spanish,
Exactly.
It will be pretty much the same.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing. And about the Maori, we never had the opportunity to learn properly Maori, and it's a shame, but we couldn't do it.
You found it hard to integrate with that level of English?
No. They make you feel that your English is wonderful. They will never tell you, I don't understand you. They try to encourage you to carry on and so on. And as they are so friendly and so welcoming and so on, you will never get. You will never think I will never be part of them.
And that's
I never felt
sometimes
like that.
that's a problem.
Yeah,
Because they never tell you that you're wrong.
Yeah,
So
and
you learn about that.
they never correct your pronunciation or your vocabulary or something, because that would help us. You keep on saying the same mistakes, and you take years saying that word badly, and they never correct you. So you end up thinking, my English is super good, and then there's someone who corrects you, and you say, but I've been 7 years saying this word like this, and nobody told me that.
The thing is, New Zealand is an immigrant country. It's full of immigrants from Asia, America, Europe. So they cannot spend the time, correcting everyone, because most of us, we are immigrants. So
They're used.
they're used to that. They're used to that. That's it. And most of them, they are even immigrants too. So probably they don't even know that they are doing it wrong. So it's like that.
Did people treat you any differently for being Spanish?
Just for the fact of being Spanish, no. Maybe for the fact of being foreigners, but not Spanish, not at all. There is no racism against the Spanish, at least not in New Zealand. No. I didn't feel that.
Probably better than
Probably better
average,
than,
because they see Spain like super cool, and it's famous for fashion, and Barcelona is super cool, and they have a very good image about
and
Spain.
super friendly people. And
Yeah, and but I didn't feel especially well treated for being
No, but it's what you say. Probably a little bit better than
a little bit better than average than what they treat
Asians
us.
or people from the Pacific Islands.
Which are the worst things about going abroad?
Well, for me, it's obviously leaving the family behind. So That's the worst thing, and especially in our situation that was 20,000 kilometers
Yes.
distance. So and the jet lag, sorry, the time difference.
Time
Yeah,
difference,
yeah,
yeah,
because
yeah,
it's 10, 11 or 12 hours depending on the year. So connecting that is not that easy, and the fact of coming back home only once every 2 years.
yeah. Missing family events
Yes.
and weddings and important days for the family.
I
You
mean,
cannot even consider I go there for just one event that has place one day. And what
or
else?
even when you lose people. I mean,
Yeah.
you know that if someone passes away, you cannot come to say goodbye.
Yeah.
There is no time. You have no time to come. So yeah, that's the main problem. The distance.
And
It's a huge distance.
Feeling alone in Christmas, spending the Christmas far from the family was tough. Was really tough, and was 7 years, and yeah,
Not for me, not Christmas, but
not for me was all I miss. But
Does it have good things because
of course. We were really far from you. That's a really good thing.
thank you.
yeah, family
I
sending
know that.
family sending photos of them having fun in the table, and Christmas Eve, and blah blah blah. And you're feeling there like, wow,
Now,
I wanna
obviously-
be there.
Obviously, the good thing is the whole learning process. I mean, you get the distance to have some perspective, and you learn to see what things are good or bad in your place and in the new place. So let's say that you have more tools to understand everything, understanding your own country in the new country. I used to say that we spent probably all our money there. We came here with less money, but richer. I feel obviously richer. Yeah, that I have no doubts about it.
And now that you're back home, what are the things that you miss the most about going abroad?
No, it's not about going abroad, about New Zealand. In this situation, it's about New Zealand. It's not the fact of going abroad, no?
No, but also being abroad,
Ah,
no
well,
matter
yeah.
in New Zealand or whatever, it's doing whatever you want. You don't have to explain anybody about what are you doing today, tomorrow, because no one organizes your life. And if you're here,
There was another good thing. I think we were strong.
family tend to tell you tomorrow we have to do that, or it's like freedom, but freedom for good and freedom for bad.
Yes.
On Sunday is extremely sad. I mean, Sunday is to have coffee with the family, and
Yeah.
so you have the good part, but also the bad part. So
And this is another good thing. I think we were stronger as a family. I mean, the kids and us.
Yeah.
We were together. We used to do everything together.
Yeah.
Because you don't have all the friends and all the family to go there on Sunday and on Saturday.
Yeah.
So at the end, you are doing everything together. And
Yeah.
I think our bonds were stronger. I think,
Yeah.
thanks to
And
that,
as soon
yeah.
as you arrive here, one daughter was with the cousins, the other
Yes.
one spent the day in the swimming pool of someone else, and the grandparents, and we feel that we are missing them, when we used to do everything with them. So, well, it's
Yeah.
also another
And about New Zealand, we missed a lot of stuff from New Zealand.
everything.
Because,
Yeah.
as you can see, we love that country.
Well, that's everything. Thanks for the interview.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
You're really good interviewers.
I know.
So I don't know if there's a teacher watching this. They are good, eh? They are good. They are the men.
He's not saying this because it's my father.
No.
I will send it to our teacher
Only this part.
as another clip.
By the way,
That's good luck in the future.
okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Juan Candelon Bustillo is a man who born in Silleda. He's a physician who studied here in Galicia. But when he entered the university, he started to work in the USA, Australia, and in Hong Kong. He won a lot of awards, like, for example, Breakthrough Prize in Fundamental Physics, because he lived in many countries. He knows who to talk 4 languages.
We know that you have traveled and lived in many different places, but first of all, why did you decide to go abroad? Was it a hard decision? Do you think you made a good choice?
So I decided to go abroad because I had an offer from the United States, and I really wanted to see how one works in the United States. So it was definitely a good decision because the person who was my boss in the US, I mean, in practice was not my boss. He gave me all the freedom I wanted. So I could really work a lot on things that I found interesting.
Okay.
So, yes, it was a good decision, definitely.
Why or how did you choose your destinations?
So the first one was because it was the only offer that I had. So it was either you go to the US or you go nowhere. The second was Australia. And it was a unique opportunity to live in Australia. So I was like, yes, I need to take that thing. And then I went to Hong Kong for a year. And it was basically because they were offering me to have my own group and to be the boss in there. And the students are extremely good.
Did you know the languages of the countries you visited, and how did it help you integrate?
So in the US and Australia, yes, because I spoke English during the whole doctorate, PhD. In Hong Kong, everyone essentially speaks English. But only the old people speak only Chinese, but I don't speak Chinese. But it has been never a problem to integrate myself. Also, both in the US and in Australia, there are many Spanish speakers, like Colombians, Venezuelans, Argentines, Spanish. So it's super easy to just form part of the community.
Let's talk about your life there as a foreign citizen. How was the easiest place to adapt to?
I think the US, Atlanta, because as I said, the Spanish / Latino community is very large. So it was very easy to get integrated. And also I was super lucky because I remember the first day I got in my office in Atlanta. 5 minutes after that, someone knocks in my door, and he's a Spanish guy the same age as me from Barcelona. So I had friends from minute one.
Did people treat you any differently for being Spanish?
No, I don't think so. If anything, in Hong Kong it is very funny, because if you look European, they kind of treat you in a better way. Like, they like you most.
You find a lot of other immigrants who are being abroad. Where did you find them most?
Yes, so there were a lot of immigrants everywhere. I think the most probably in Atlanta. There are many immigrants from South America. So many people from Colombia, Argentina, Venezuela, Chile. So yes, definitely. In Australia, it's more, so there is more immigration, but also from like England, Germany, those type of countries. It's not only South America. And in Hong Kong is quite different. Most of the immigrants are from the UK, because at the end of the day, Hong Kong was part of the UK not so long ago.
Which are the worst things about going abroad?
If I have to say one, and it depends on where you are, but I would say that the worst was in Australia, and it's the time difference. So it's 9 hours. So when I'm going to bed, let's say at 12 in the night, in Australia, it's what time? I need to subtract. It's 3 p.m. here. It's 3 p.m. here, so you are really disconnected from the rest of the world. Also, you will travel for 22 hours or so to get back to Spain in this case. And for me personally, this sounds stupid, but I like to watch football. And you cannot watch football in Australia because it happens during the night.
I had family in New Zealand, and
I never went.
We couldn't speak with them. Like, we
Yes.
only couldn't speak at the morning or at night.
Yeah, in very extreme hours, yeah.
There is something good about going abroad?
Yeah, everything. Different, I don't know, different friends, different food, different place to live, you travel to different places, you see different cultures. One should live abroad for a couple of years at least.
Now that you're living in Spain again, what's the thing or things that you miss the most from living abroad?
I would say 2 things or 3 things. So from Atlanta, I miss a lot the timings. And again, let me talk again about this football thing. Football in Atlanta happens in the morning until 5 p.m. let's say, and then after that you have the whole day to enjoy. You can go dinner and stuff like that. In Spain, it's not like. The best thing. Let me remind myself. The things I miss the most. Yes. Sorry. The thing I miss the most, to be honest, in Spain is that the institutions like university and all of that work much worse. So everything is very inefficient in Spain. Everything is kind of done so that you need to do a lot of work to do something. So that's one thing. And then from Hong Kong, I miss a lot of the food. The food in Hong Kong is amazing.
What are your plans for the future? Are you staying here? Are you moving here?
That's a very good question. So for now, in principle, I'm getting back to Hong Kong in April as a professor. So to build up my own research group and stuff, which I kind of started already. But that will be in April. So I don't know if something happens in the middle and I decide I want to stay here doing, I don't know, whether in the university or maybe moving to a company. I'll maybe do it. I don't know.
And have you noticed that maybe from the past till now the situation in Spain has changed, or is it still the same?
Okay, depends on what you mean by past. I remember that in 2012 the situation was terrible. And you see it in how busy the bars are. So the bars were empty. So that means that Spain is not working. Right now the bars are full. So the situation is certainly different. Now, in regards to how the university works and all of this, is the same thing. Nothing has changed as far as I can tell.
So how do you say how do you see the future, for example, for these people? What advice can you give to them?
My advice is that people need to think a bit in the American way, in the following sense. America is a very big country. The United States. So you will perfectly see people that are born and are raised in Boston, and then they go working in California or Texas, which is far away. So it's the same. I mean, here there should be no problem for you to go to Sweden or Germany or stuff like that. I mean, don't stay in Spain if you are not comfortable in Spain. That's the first thing. The second thing is that I think if you're going to the university, I would focus, first of all, do what you want. But if you're one of those persons that like science, I know, mathematics, informatic engineering, statistics, or physics, or something like that, chemistry, and you're thinking, oh, but after that, what do I do? Because money for research is not that big in Spain. Or you can be, if you want to be a high school teacher, the path is quite hard. You need to do one of these oposiciones. You should know that the best exit you're going to have is in a company. Companies are hiring this type of people massively now. Because regardless whether it's physics, chemistry, blah, blah, it's not about learning physics or learning chemistry or learning mathematics. What they're going to teach you is to solve problems. To solve problems based on the data you have. So that's what companies need now. So Google, Inditex, Amazon, all of these companies are full of basically researchers or scientists. So think that way, because most of the times you think that in the high school, while you are in high school, you think that, oh, if I do science, I either need to be a professor in the university or a teacher in high school, and that's it. And that's super far from being true.
You were living in Hong Kong when the protest and
the pandemic.
That thing with China.
Yeah.
You were living there.
Yeah. So actually, before moving to Hong Kong, I went for a week to see the place and to have an interview at the university. And the day I landed was the day that the government prohibited the masks, so that people needed to show their faces in case they go to protest and all of that. So I got there when the situation was the most tense. And I actually found myself randomly in one of those. So it took me 2 hours to get out because no taxi would stop or anything. But I really didn't notice them when I was living there. I noticed them because I saw it in the news or because my parents were saying, oh my God, are the protests going on? And I'm like, I see nothing. And also I was there during the pandemics, but there were basically no restrictions at all. I mean, gyms were closed, university was closed, but other than that, you could leave your house, you could go to a bar, you could go to a restaurant, because the cases are super low.
Which was the worst experience you had abroad?
I don't know. Well,
As made by you in Australia or something?
No, nothing like that. I only saw kangaroos and koalas and stuff like that, which is quite amazing because you go to a park and you see kangaroos around you. And one day we were barbecuing kangaroo besides the kangaroos. But the worst experience, I don't know. I guess while I was in Australia, I went on a trip to the US. And for some reason, I needed to go to the emergency room in the hospital. That's not, I mean, that was a stressing situation because I had no family. I had friends, but I had no family in the US at that point. So yeah, that was a bad experience, but I wouldn't say that I mean, that can happen here. So it's not about being abroad or not.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
For sharing your experiences with us. Good luck for the future.
Thank you. Good luck to you all.
In conclusion, Silleda is quite a diverse place, as you guys can see.
We have a lot of migrants with all types of nationalities and ethnicities, which brings us lots of knowledge from different cultures.
But what's most important about this interview of migrants here in Silleda, it's the fact that they could have chosen any place in the world, and they chose to stay here, Silleda.
This says a lot about our village on how we managed to make Silleda a safe and welcoming place for migrants. Thank you.